If you own a vehicle with a carburetor on it, sooner or later you'll have to rebuild it or maybe replace some service parts. But how do you know you're getting the right parts? When it comes to identifying your carburetor, it's not as easy as just saying I have a Holley or I have a Demon. It's like going to the guy behind the parts counter and saying, hey, I need a water pump for a V8. He's going to need some more information. Here at Holley, we've been producing carburetors since 1903, and with over a century of history, well, let's just say we've built a few carbs over the years. At the end of the day, you need to know the list number of your carb. Think of the list number as your VIN for your carburetor. The list number lets you know important things like product designs, model, CFM, factory jets, power valve size, air bleeds, and everything in between. This is all important information to have when you're selecting a rebuild kit or ordering your service parts. So where do you find your list number? Well, like a lot of things, it's not a cut and dry answer, but a little knowledge can go a long ways. Let's start by taking a look at our most common 4-barrel carbs, our model 4150 and the 4160 square flange, as well as our 4165 and 4175 spread bores. Some of these carbs have been produced for more than 60 years and have a lot of variations. The list number for these carbs should be hand stamped on the front of the choke tower to the right of the vent tube. Generally, the list number will be 4 to 6 digits long and may have a suffix number behind it. Examples would be a 3310 or 80508-1. The 3 to 4 digit date code is stamped directly below the list number, and in some cases you may even have an OEM part number stamped above both of these numbers, if it was a factory part. Be careful not to confuse the casting number with your list number. Holley casting numbers have an alphanumeric sequence, such as 6R1234. This is not the list number. The casting numbers are alphanumerical and can be identified by the fact that they are erased or cast into the part and not stamped. What if you find that your carb doesn't have a choke tower? More than likely, someone has cut and removed the choke assembly for performance gains. Unfortunately, they also removed any numbers enabling you to identify your carburetor. You can get some clues by breaking down and inspecting the carburetor, but it will be hard to determine its true identity. If you have an early 4150 HP or a newer 4150 Ultra XP, it's pretty straightforward. Holley 4150 HP and XP carbs come right from our factory without choke towers. HP models can be identified by the 6 raised bosses cast directly into the side of the main body. On early series carbs without screw-in air bleeds, look for the list number to be stamped on top. On later models with screw-in air bleeds and on our 4150 Ultra XPs, the list number will be stamped or laser etched on the throttle lever side of your main body. These list numbers are 4 to 6 digits long and may contain a suffix number. 80528-1 would be a good example. Once again, the 4-digit date code should be directly below the list number. Now let's take a look at the popular 2300 model 2-barrel carbs. This one can get a little bit tricky since the list numbers can be in any one of 4 possible locations. One place it can be found is on the choke tower, like our previous carbs. If it's an early race 2-barrel and it's not machined for a choke plate, you can find it stamped on the top next to the choke tower. Our newer 2-barrel Ultra XPs will not have a choke tower, and the numbers will be laser etched onto the top. If you're fortunate enough to own a 6-pack setup, list numbers for your outboard carbs can be stamped on the choke tower or the backside of the main body. Again, look for a list number with 4 to 6 digits with a date code directly below it. Some models may even have an OEM part number directly above the list number as well. Getting into our 4500 Dominators, you will find 3 generations of carburetors. The early first gens are easy to identify by the raised rings around the venturis, and the list number will be stamped on the top. Second gen models will have the numbers stamped into the throttle side of the main body, and our third gen Dominators are easy to ID with the 4 built-in threaded air pan bosses. List and date code numbers for the Gen 3 can be found laser etched on the throttle side of your main body. Once again, look for a 4 to 6 digit list number with a 3 or 4 digit date code below it. A typical Dominator list number would be something like 8896-1. If you have one of our popular Street Demon carburetors, you'll find the list number and date code laser etched into the rear of the air horn. It's a 4 to 6 digit number and may be alphanumerical. For example, you could find a 1901 or 1901 BK. A 5-digit production code can be found after the list number. And finally, if you have a modular Demon 4-barrel, it will have an alphanumeric list number up to 9 digits long, laser etched into the air cleaner flange, with a 5-digit production code to follow. If you don't find a number laser etched into the flange, that means your carburetor was manufactured prior to Holley's acquisition of Demon. Identifying these early carbs can be a bit tricky, and it may be necessary to contact Holley's tech service for more help. Be sure and have the carburetor handy when you call, so you can answer any questions our tech guys might have. Once you have positively identified your carb, Using the information I've given you, simply go to the website at holley.com and enter your list number into our handy carburetor kit selector, and we'll take the guesswork out of selecting the correct rebuild kit for your carb. I hope this video was helpful. For more information and tech tips, go to holley.com and click on the support tab at the top of our page, or you can check out the Holley page on YouTube for more how-to videos.